new immersive Apple Vision Pro video, and Photoshop on the iPhone. This is MacVoices. This edition of MacVoices is supported by the new MacVoices Discord, available to all of our MacVoices patrons. Sign up and join in the conversation in your new favorite online group at patreon.com/MacVoices. Well, the next one I'm going to go right back to the AVP people, because this is an article that came out that apparently there's another new immersive video, Arctic surfing. I didn't know this was a thing. Sounds a little bit questionable, but that's okay. That's another discussion. But my perception is that we're starting to get these things just on a little more regular basis. And I heard you all talk about on Vision Profiles last night, that I guess there's another one coming this Friday. So are we starting to see the quantity ramp up, even if these are shorts?
Don't know. I mean, this is not the immersive experience I want. I mean, mine are all R-rated, but sitting, surfing out in the snow, not my good time.
I mean,
I thought it was great.
I'm with you, Eric. Let's plan a trip. Let's road trip and go Arctic surfing.
Well, the only thing I'll say is it's too warm to really enjoy it now. But when I watched it, it was really cold outside. I put a chair on my porch. I sat down in the chair. I turned this on. And by the time I hit the end of it, I was shivering and I was right there. And I wasn't wet, but I was definitely cold. I felt like I was there. It was a great trip. And then I walked back inside and warmed up again. So 15 minutes is about all I can handle. But it was well worth it.
Eric, now I want to know how long it's going to be before people start writing shortcuts and scripts that tie into HomeKit to simulate the temperature and other weather conditions when you're in your house. So like the fans turn on if it's supposed to be windy, the air conditioner turns on, the heater turns on. Chuck, you're going to love these features when they come to your Vision Pro.
that is true.
Well, first of all, I want to say that Eric is taking immersive experiences to a whole new level. I mean, he's going outside.
It's a logical progression.
Yeah, well, Brittany in the chat room said, so many holodeck jokes here. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, the video looked interesting, and Eric, I know we were joking a little bit, but how was the experience? I mean, was it up to the par with some of the previous ones? Because I think you and Dave and Marty all said that the one that was in the submarine, you were almost holding your breath. It was so real.
Yeah.
Is this
all of them to me? So
yeah,
they're all good. The filming techniques are different in each one.
Right.
This one in some ways kind of reminded me more of when they were doing the tour of Hawaii and flying over the islands. There's more aerial work in it. But I have to say, I have no desire to go to the Arctic and stand around in the water waiting for people to swim out into a surf. I like the perspective of seeing it from above. I'm being on the beach where I'm nice and safe. But yeah, it really did feel like you were kind of there. You got to see everybody kind of doing everything. You got to see, everyone kind of sitting around a fire and, chatting with each other. It really felt like kind of a documentary. You got the depth pieces there. The sitting outside and freezing to death while watching it definitely added something, but a spray bottle filled with ice water, you could come close. So yeah, it was good. I think that it like the last one was the rodeo one. which I think I liked better than Marty did, but it felt like they needed more material. This one, I felt like there was enough material where they could, cut everything together and produce something that didn't make me feel like I needed more parts. The waves weren't as big as I expected, but the water was definitely cold. So yeah, and I never really would have thought of hopping in water in the Arctic. Yeah.
And what's interesting is we're starting to see other developers create apps that are content driven, that are video, spatial video driven. So Prima is an app that has just come out, and its first episode is $3, and it's 15 minutes of video of a band, and it's really remarkable in terms of the sound and also the spatial. And if you start thinking about that, people will start, maybe this company or other producers will start to produce spatial video and sell it as a product through Apple Vision Pro. It's going to be pretty cool. We're waiting on Apple to release something all the time.
Eric brought up though, and since I don't have an Apple Vision Pro, I can't appreciate this yet. Yes, I know. But you mentioned the filming techniques, Eric, and I think that's really interesting because we've talked about how it is a challenge to produce immersive video for these devices because the experience is not a flat screen; it's all around you.
Yeah, that's true. And I think more people are seeing the results of what has been done before, and that's helping as well. But a lot of this stuff was produced a while ago and put together a while ago, or filmed a while ago and then finished up. So I think it's just going to keep improving dramatically. And I suppose Marty didn't mention it, but kind of related to the beta, they have greatly improved the demoing app.
Yeah, I saw that.
If you put the device on and start doing stuff, a message pops up on your phone and says, "Hey, do you want to share and what apps?" And you go click, poof, and it's all there. And it used to be that, you could mirror to an iPad and kind of get people through until they watch something like a TV show or something that was protected content. And then you lost the connection. And if you were lucky, you could convince them to wander around until they could share the screen again. This one, it shows up on the phone and you can press a button, and then as soon as they're done watching the TV show with the protected content, you can share the screen again from the phone so you can see where they are and then talk them through to the next thing. Much, much better experience.
Stay tuned. We'll have more as this develops. Both from a content standpoint and a function standpoint. Jeff, this one's for you.
Oh, how exciting.
I thought of you. I was so glad you were here tonight because I really wanted to get some commentary on the fact that after years of requests from creatives, Adobe finally brings Photoshop to the iPhone.
I really have no opinion on this.
Oh, well,
Kidding.
Gee, thanks, Jeff. Thanks.
All right. He has a hypothesis for sure.
Yeah.
No, actually, people have been asking for Photoshop on the iPhone for a very long time. So good on Adobe for finally releasing Photoshop on the iPhone. I wouldn't call it full Photoshop, more like Photoshop Lite. But that's okay because you do not want to be doing full-on Serious Pro Photoshop editing on an iPhone, even if you have a Max model. It's not the type of screen for that.
Yep.
But this is going to be great for people that have to do like videography work out in the field. Maybe you're on location and you need to update some graphics, do a little bit of work. but not the hardcore Photoshop stuff where you need to sit down at your desk, your big screen, your Wacom tablet, all of that. Yeah, but this is great. And if I'm remembering correctly, anyone can use this, even if you don't have an Adobe Creative Cloud subscription. It's just feature limited when you're using it as a free app. But that's still cool. Give people a little something to work with, and for a lot of people, that might just be enough.
I think there's a separate subscription for it too, if you wanted just for that.
Oh, that doesn't surprise me at all. That would be a smart thing for Adobe to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, agreed. Marty?
Yeah, there is a in-app purchase option. I happen to pay for the suite already, and so I was able to sign in with my Adobe account because I'm using other things on Adobe. I'm using Premiere and I'm using Audition, and so those are apps. So I'm not a big Photoshop user. Let's put it this way: I'm not a Photoshop user, but I loaded the app and started playing around with it, and I think it's a good beginning app because a lot of the stuff kind of you can figure out intuitively of what it's going to do with simple photos. And so it might be sort of an entry drug for people to Photoshop. No way would I want to do all my Photoshop editing on my phone. As Jeff has said, too small of a screen. I'm also wondering, with Apple buying Pixelator Pro, if this is sort of, and what's Apple's move going to be with that? Is that going to be incorporated into Photos? And so this might be Adobe's getting a foothold on the iPhone for another option in terms of photo editing.
That's a good point.
I guess the first thing I thought is this just plain too late?
No.
Because there's so many. Apple has already improved the tools within the iPhone right now, and there are a number of really good apps out there already on the iPhone. Admittedly, they don't have the cache or the name recognition that Photoshop does. So, but is anybody? I don't know. Is anybody really going to adopt this at this late date, unless they're a Photoshop user?
I contend that no. Let me start that over, Chuck. I say this with love. You're wrong.
Okay, tell me why I'm wrong.
So you're wrong about this potentially being too late, because this is something that that Photoshop users have continually been asking for. They didn't stop. They've still been asking for it. If you are already working in Adobe's Creative Cloud suite, and you want to keep working in that, and you want something that integrates seamlessly with the rest of your workflow, regardless of what device you're on, for a lot of people, this will be a godsend. Let's say, for example, you're out on location, you're doing some video recording and some on-location editing, and you need to do a quick update to a logo or a bumper that's going to get dropped in on something that you're editing there on site, and you can just be like, okay, hold on, got it, do the changes real quick, and it's still in your shared Creative Cloud environment, and the person that's working in Premiere, boom, they've got it, and away you go. So no, it's not too late. There've been a ton of tools out there already for years, but for the market that Adobe has, this is, I'm sure, a very welcome addition to their product lineup.
Jeff, I will accept your conclusion that I am wrong, because I am not a Creative Cloud user. And so your points make complete sense to me. I don't know that this would cause me to come to Photoshop on the iPhone, since I already have a lot of other options. and I'm not a Creative Cloud user.
Probably not.
So that's, I guess, where I'm coming from. That, but if you are saying that they did this to appease their customer base and improve the depth of the integration, okay, I admit I had not thought about it in those terms.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a gateway app. Although I could see in certain situations, but it'll be a small minority of people, where maybe they're in school and design, some sort of creative production training, and they're learning on Adobe's tools in school, and they can throw this on their iPhone for free and mess around with it. They're learning Adobe's tools. That's what Adobe wants. That they want you to learn this in school, so when you get out of school, it's the tool you want to use. But it's not going to be a big gateway app.
Okay, but I get what you're saying, and especially if it integrates with the Creative Cloud, then you can start something on one device and finish it on the next.
Mm-hmm.
And that starts to make a lot more sense to me. But I was looking at it as primarily just a standalone application.
No, here's another scenario for you. Imagine that you're working for a marketing agency and you're on the subway going somewhere, and you get a call, and it's someone else on the team, and they're like, "Holy crap! The client, they went to see the logo with these alterations because they think they may want that better. Can you take care of that? Because we have a meeting in 20 minutes and you're not going to get back to the office in time to take care of it, but you got your phone right there." So you hop in and you add the drop shadow, change the color, switch the Pantone, whatever it is. And then they've got it just in time to go into the meeting. And now you're the hero, and the client says, "Yes, that's what we want."
Thank you for enlightening us.
Yeah.
I've got your back, Chuck.
Yeah.
It's a lovely
Mark.
story.
Yeah. So reading the story, you make a very compelling, point about use case, Jeff. But it looks like in order to do that, you need to get sucked into a $7.99 a month subscription for Photoshop mobile access. So isn't this again, the app is free, but if you want to do something really useful in a time critical or business situation, then ka-ching, you got to subscribe. And, hence that's the objective for Adobe to broaden their revenue base.
Oh, of course. Corporations are not our friends. Everyone needs to remember that. If you're already a Creative Cloud subscriber, correct me if I'm wrong, please, you get all of that stuff just as part of Creative Cloud subscription. It's if you're not already in Creative Cloud, you have to pay extra.
How much is that a month now? I know it's going up.
I don't even know anymore.
I can get a subscription to the university for $80 a year.
Ooh, that's a bargain.
But that's the university. I mean,
yeah. Outside of that, I think it's $29 a month.
No, it's
enterprise. It's about $800 a year.
Yeah, that's more aligned with what I was thinking. I think they've pushed it to like $80 a month.
Well, right now, through March 3rd, you get a 40% discount for your first year. So so regular price $59.99 a month. So with the deal right now, it's $35.99 a month.
Yeah.
So yeah, $60 a month, but it's a professional tool.
It is.
And and professional tools that come with the professional support. You're going to pay for that.
Have you looked at the app yet, Jeff?
Nope.
Okay.
And only because I had just even had time to screw with it.
Oh yeah, because way back when there was a sort of a version of Photoshop or Photoshop Lite or whatever they called it on iPhone, and then it seemed to disappear. And now they have this thing coming out. But yeah, one of the things I know, one of the key benefits, a lot of Photoshop users I know, they use all sorts of stuff with layers and so on and so forth. Is that sort of capability going to be present in this version? Because the old version on the iPhone was no better, in functionality than Apple's built-in apps, and that's directionally correct. I won't say it's literally correct, but it didn't have any capability to do layering and so on and so forth. So which is
Mark,
where I think all the power is.
Yeah, I poked around with it for 30 minutes. There are layers in it on the iPhone app for the paid version.
For the paid,
yeah.
okay, of course, yeah.
So, Marty, what is your set of tools comment? I'm not didn't understand that.
What you're paying for $35 a month or $60 a month is not just a tool. You're not just paying for Photoshop.
Right.
You're paying for the cloud apps that they have, including Audition, Media Encoder, Premium, Premiere Pro, Acrobat, Adobe Express,
InDesign.
Yeah, InDesign, Acrobat,
Illustrator.
The Adobe font library. Don't forget that.
Yep. So there's a lot there.
20,000 fonts, of which probably 10 are useful.
Yeah, but those 10 are worth $60 a month.
Yeah, but it's probably 10 to each of a different 10 for all their users.
Well, and let's go back to Jeff's point that I think is probably the bottom line that I didn't consider, that this is a professional tool set,
right,
for professionals, the people that actually use these things to make money with every single day. And so when you start to pass it through that lens, it all starts to make a whole lot more sense. Both the pricing and the inclusion of a new Photoshop for the iPhone.
Yep.
So I stand corrected, Jeff. Thank you.
Still love you, Chuck.
I love you too because you keep me straight.
Love you, man.
Yeah.
I love you too.
Visit MacVoices.com for show notes and to connect with Chuck on social media. Get involved in our Facebook group or like our Facebook page, and get more out of your Apple tech with MacVoices Magazine, free on Flipboard and on the web. And if you find value in it all, consider supporting us through either our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/MacVoices or by making a one-time donation via the PayPal link on our front page and in the show notes of each episode. You will join these fine people who help bring you Mac Voices. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media at backbeatmedia.com. Bandwidth provided by CacheFly at cachefly.com.